To understand the historical importance and the divine timing of the Prophet Muhammad's mission, peace and blessings be upon him, it helps to understand the context he was born into and the prophets that came before him, most recently that of Jesus Christ, son of Mary, peace be upon them both. Jesus Christ is a particularly special prophet in the Islamic understanding. The special qualities of Mary and her family led to her being chosen by God for the honor of mothering Jesus without father. The Quran clarifies the language around this. God does not have parents nor children. But Jesus was created similar to the way that Adam was created, although Adam had no mother either. Allah says, "Be," and it is. Now, Jesus' teaching to the Jews and Gentiles are Islamic teachings. And Allah allowed his enemies to think that he was executed, but in truth he was taken from the earth before his death and kept alive with God to return in the last days as the promised Messiah. Of course, the historical record of that time is thin, and some of the Western critics of Christianity argue there isn't even sufficient proof that Jesus Christ existed at all. Of course, we don't have to accept that because we have confidence in the Quran. And so we know tremendous detail about Zechariah and Mary and Jesus and their life and times, about Jesus' miracles and teachings, about his disciples, about his enemies. Within a few centuries after Jesus' occultation, human spirituality in the Eurasian world was again in a kind of a crisis. The children of Israel to whom Jesus was sent rejected Jesus, which is what forms what are now known as the Jews. And then among the preachers of Jesus' message, that monotheism was corrupted into a claim that Jesus was himself God or part of a three-part God, and this is then taken up by the Roman Empire and spread further. And the East was dominated by Zoroastrians, Hindus, Buddhists, probably all traditions that began with true prophets, but were corrupted into various cults and polytheisms. But many sages of that age, especially among the Jews and the Christians, were predicting and waiting for the coming of another prophet from the direction of Arabia, where the descendants of Ishmael had settled. And so some of them traveled there and waited, sometimes generation after generation, until about 570 years after the birth of Jesus, when a special child was born.